Now, I think that we could all agree here that whether you love or hate Elon Musk, you gotta admit that what he did against Bob Iger and Disney was much needed. Somebody of that status, with that many followers, needed to put Disney in the hot seat to kind of expose their overall agenda with their entertainment field, such as their movies, television programs, etc., etc., and what Bob Iger is trying to push into many of these upcoming franchises out there like Star Wars, Marvel, etc., etc. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, we know that there's this back and forth battle between those like Elon Musk and Bob Iger, both of which are really kind of going at each other. We know that they're using different sources to expose each other. We got Bob Iger on one end using his programs such as ABC News. We also have, of course, The View up there, the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, as well as Good Morning America, that's going to talk more about Elon Musk by this January in their desperate move to kind of really put Elon Musk in the hot seat on their end. Meanwhile, you got Elon Musk getting ready to go on the Joe Rogan podcast by this February or late January, so to speak, and continuing to call them out on the platform now known as X, which was previously Twitter. But what's interesting about all of this has a lot to do with what Bob Iger had to say about Elon Musk and X, and how he's pointing the finger at them as to why Disney is pretty much getting a bad rap nowadays, based on all of their box office failures, based on all of their agenda-driven garbage, mind you. Be it, of course, anything related to all brands like Star Wars and Marvel, for example. Now, with Disney actively engaging in damage control for all their brands, Bob Iger and the board are scrambling after all the Elon Musk callouts. However, recently Bob Iger had many things to say about Elon and his X site as the destination of exposing Disney, where he delivered the following. As CEO, I believe it is proper to take responsibility for all of our divisions here at Disney and to reserve what our company stands for. I must be direct in acknowledging that Mr. Musk and his efforts to alter our image and our brands is not only irresponsible but also damaging to our products. I have said this and I will say it again, we do not engage in any culture wars, nor do we embrace any kind of an agenda-driven strategy in our films, television programs, or theme parks globally. Regardless of what the public has heard on sites like X, for example, we ask everyone to keep an open mind to what the Disney company is all about. And I can't stress this enough, but our main goal is to create pure entertainment for all age groups. Those like Mr. Musk, who attempt to alter or change beliefs from what Disney stands for in the public eye, is also something that we view as completely unprofessional and unnecessary, and clearly something that needs to be better understood at this point in time. As CEO, I feel it's also proper for me to address that we are also looking to find any kind of an alternative that will enhance our strategy with DEI. Our goals to insert diversity, equity, and inclusion are only fair to the world, but are also actions that are needed to normalize many industries such as the film industry. In this case, of our films to gravitate toward many cultures and groups around the world. And those that are opposed to that are the problem and roadblock that we face in these difficult times. I don't intend to go too far into our struggles with sites like X, but it's certainly a source of communication that is being wrongfully used to alter the image of all our divisions here at Disney. One of our most important divisions here, such as Walt Disney Animation Studios, will be our first division to enhance diversity, equity, and inclusion, and those that are led to believe this is any kind of an agenda, we ask everyone to please do your research on how this is only a fair approach to how our projects will be made for all brands, including Marvel, Star Wars, and many of our live-action adaptations from past Disney animated classics that we will be proud to make new announcements for in the months to come. Now guys, let me just pause here for one moment before I get to the big conclusion about Bob Iger and his overall stance against Elon Musk. Again, Bob Iger is spewing the same nonsense over and over like a broken record. Number one, we don't embrace any kind of a culture war. He always says this, he will always say this till he retires in 2026. The other thing that he surprisingly did not mention here is how he has said this before in the past, that he values art over ideology. And this is something that he still stands by, which is obviously all fake and a tactic used to kind of string along the shareholders and what he calls the customers as well into the following year, right? We know that right now Disney is floundering, especially for what's to be done in 2024. Already shutting down the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel just a couple of months ago back in September was a massive hit, not only to their image, but also to Bob Iger's legacy, if you even want to say he ever had one. So this is a fine example of how you can see clearly that Elon Musk and X, whether you like him or it or not, is getting under Bob Iger's skin. And most certainly is, because he's getting desperate to the point where he has to come to the public to reassure anybody that may be questioning what Disney's all about, that they are not doing the wrong thing, when in reality, let's face it, Disney is doing the wrong thing here. DEI is obviously hypocritical and contradictory in nature. This is why Elon Musk said on X that DEI must die. He said stuff like that on there, all those crazy things that really kind of stirred up Disney. And Elon Musk, rightfully exposed all of that. He really, is speaking the truth here about what Disney's all about. And I commend him for that. And again, whether you love or hate the guy, that's fine. But you have to admit, what he's doing against Disney is something that nobody else is doing out there, and it's much needed. So, continuing on, he goes on to conclude, those that follow Mr. Musk should understand this approach of ours with our many films and television programs are the right thing to do for the world and for entertainment, and it all comes from a good place and Walt's legacy. Now, one thing I gotta say about Bob Iger, don't throw Walt's legacy into this nonsense, please, because Elon said it right on stage just a couple of weeks ago, that Walt would be spinning in his grave if he saw what Disney has become. He would. Most certainly would. Because Walt Disney was all about making real pure entertainment, as opposed to what Bob Iger is claiming that he's doing with all these movies and television shows, right? So, the fact that we have, on one end, you got Elon continuing to call out Disney and going on different podcasts that are to be done in the next couple of weeks to really keep Disney in the limelight, negatively so. And then you got Disney heading over to terrible shows like The View with Joy Behar to expose Elon Musk in a desperate move that's not going to go anywhere, because look, who watches The View anyway, right? Pretty much a very small group, and so it's really not going to get out to anybody out there in the first place. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.